Hi guys, welcome back. Thank you for joining me today for this review where I'm going to take a look at this piece, Pagani design, a brand that I haven't actually featured on the channel before. You may have seen me unbox this and shout out again to Samuel, local supporter watch enthusiast who has made part of his collection available very generously for me to feature. Thank you again, Samuel, and let me get into this one. So Pagani Design clearly is a Chinese origin brand. Again, they're one of those brands with no direct site, similar to Guanqin, Terwacer, T-Vice. They don't have a direct website. They do market predominantly through retailers such as AliExpress and GearBest, for example. This model does also come on eBay as well as Amazon. I found this on Amazon, so I'll put the relevant links below. The sale price is 70 USD. So let's just get into this. So you get this card box with felt internals here. You get a kind of microfiber cleaning cloth. And then on the side here, we're seeing a manual, right? User's manual. I won't go into it. It's pretty basic, three-hander and kind of an international guarantee. I don't know how reliable that actually is. Let me know if you have any particular experiences. And then the watch comes, in this kind of like a foam thing that it's worn around. So that's the packaging. So let's get into the watch itself. So right here we have the Pagani design Aquaracer 43mm automatic 1617. I'm going to call it Aquaracer because clearly it is very much an homage to the Tag Heuer Aquaracer 43mm. There's no doubt about it, right? Just look at sights and screenshots, if you will. Right, the movement in here, people have gone and said that this is a Seagull ST6, and on certain screenshots I have seen of marketing that they say it's a Seagull ST6 or ST6D. I'm not entirely sure whether it's an original movement or is it a copy, because in other sites they don't tend to go out and say that's what it is. But I've seen at least one particular marketing site or shot that has said that. So that's ostensibly what it is. 21,600 beats per hour, 17 jewel movement with a 30-hour reserve, but that's not actually confirmed. I think other Seagulls have 30 hours. I haven't actually confirmed that the ST6 has 30 hours, but that's probably what it is. It does have a quick set date, in this case, the Cyclops implementation here. It does have hacking, manual winding as well. So, all the typical features of this kind of three-hand style movement. The case is 43mm in diameter with 14mm thickness and 22mm lug width. So, there's the thickness there. And the lug-to-lug distance is actually 15mm. So it's not massive. And the overall weight comes in at 165 grams. So pretty average for a watch of this size, similar to, for example, my Omega Seamaster, which is actually a slightly smaller watch. The brushing finishing, right, vertical brushing on the top of the lugs here and polished on the sides. And I think that's similar to the Aquaracer itself. It's reversed for the bezel. So the bezel has polished on the top, that 45mm bevel there, 45-degree bevel. And then it's got brushed on the side there. So it's kind of like an alternate for the actual bezel finishing that you can see here. Right, the screw-in case back is pretty decent looking. I mean, there's some detail there that you be able to see. Right, Pagani design right in the middle. It's I guess it's a bit fine. I'm not sure how much of this is translating onto the camera. And then you got the details around the side. They're water resistant and whatnot. So it's screw-in case back that you can see there, obviously. And it does actually have a screw-in crown. Interestingly, they've only rated it at 30 meters. I'm not sure exactly why. You would think that you could easily rate this a lot higher if you just, kind of pressure test it, put on the glass firmly. And just to mention as well, there's a bit of etching on the crown there, right? It's got the Pagani logo and there's a bit of etching. So it's not completely just flat printed. There's a bit of texture there. So, a little bit of detail on the finishing here. The dial, right, again, lifted from the Aquaracer. This one's a blue dial with the horizontal deck pattern or streak pattern that some people describe this to be. if you look at the Pagani design at the 12 o'clock position there, that logo is almost in the same shape as the Tag Heuer shield, isn't it? And I think that's probably what they're going for. So there's paddle style hands that you can see there, again with the divided loom, very similar to the current Tag Heuer Aquaracer pattern. And the loom is interesting. It's not very good loom, it's actually quite lousy, but it is in the green and blue pattern similar to the Aquaracer. Now the blue lasts very briefly, kind of in the range of minutes. The green lasts a bit longer, but it's no better than, say, Invicta. In fact, I think it's worse than Invicta loom, actually. The bezel is unidirectional, but it is 90 click, right? If you hear it, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a 90 click bezel. It's not 120 clicks, and there's a bit of play in here. It's not the best action. In fact, it's fairly poor. The bezel insert is presumably steel or aluminium. They don't say it's ceramic, so if they don't say so, it's almost certainly not. It's flat hardlex crystal, right? That's what they've said it is. So mineral glass with the Cyclops date there. Bracelet is completely brushed steel. Okay, it is 3 piece per link. You can see it playing around there. 3 piece per link. Push pins, of course, you're not going to expect screw pins in a watch that costs $70 USD. And it's got a fairly decent push button deployment class. It's got some solidity to it, right? Look at the links here. There's no diver's extension, but fairly nicely finished push button deployment. And it's got, kind of semi-solid end links that you can see there. Look at those end links on between the lugs there. Okay, so it's not bad. Let's just put it on quickly for a screenshot. So there it is on my 17 centimeter wrist, which with those 50 meter lug to lug distance, it kind of just overhangs a little bit. So it's on the large side for my wrist. Right, maybe strictly speaking, it's a bit too large, but I've actually enjoyed wearing this around. It's pretty comfortable. It's steel, but it's not too heavy, and I've quite liked this because of the styling that is taken from the Aquaracer, which is not a badly styled watch, I have to say. Now, just doing a side by side with the other model, which Samuel also kindly provided. All right, just give it a side by side there. And that's what I'm going to do with this. You can see, it's essentially the same watch, just with different color. Even the coloring around the second hand, right, that yellow is the same, right? Otherwise, every element is pretty much the same, except for the color of the bezel and the dial. The actual finishing, right? The case backs. They're the same watch. So both called the 1617, just in blue and black. I'm going to put that aside now. So what have I enjoyed about this watch? Well, it's pretty impressive packaging at $70. I think the finishing is not bad at all. It's got the ST6 Seagull movement, and that's not a bad package. What's not so good? Well, it's a pretty blatant homage, right? So if you're not into that, if you don't like kind of homage, or in this case, some of it's just a pretty blatant copy, some of the features, well, that's not going to be for you. There's no micro adjustment on the bezel at all. Okay, so if you want to adjust any of this, you're going to have to push out the links and change it. And then lastly, I'll say the weak bezel action, that's a pretty standout there. The finishing, I will say as well, whilst it's not bad, there's some sharpness to it. It doesn't feel super smooth on the hands there, so I think that's probably a bit of shortcoming. There's a slight weakness on the finishing there. So that's what my thoughts are on this particular model. For $70, it's pretty good, and I think I'm going to compare this with, say, an Invicta, so look out for that video to come. There you go, guys. That's my thought on the Pagani Aquaracer 43mm. I'll call it the Aquaracer. Let me know what you think. If you have any experience with Pagani design, I'd like to hear it, particularly if you own this particular model. Guys, thank you for watching. If you enjoy my videos, do consider subscribing. I'm putting out new content weekly, always aiming to be objective and unbiased about all things horology. Thank you for sticking with me, and as always, I will catch you next time.